Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Harshvardhans joining you this morning with all the top stories that we're tracking. And I want to first focus on the Omicron variant and how it's spreading across the world. In India, there are 200 plus cases that have been reported, 230 cases also overall across the country. But the worry is that the cases on a daily basis are going up, especially keeping in mind what the situation is in other countries. The United Kingdom has reported over 1 lakh COVID cases in the last 24 hours. And this is because of the Omicron spread, the fact that it's a lot more transmissible than other variants. France has reported 84,000 plus cases. So across Europe, you're seeing this massive surge. The United States is also saying that it looks like eventually we're going to be hitting 1 lakh plus cases as well, considering what's happening in Europe. And that's why here in India also we're ensuring that we're fully prepared for any eventuality. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be holding a review meeting today that will be happening at 6:30 this evening, where essentially he's going to be taking stock of the kind of preparations on ground, what state governments have done so far to ensure that we keep Omicron at bay. If you look at the tally right now, Maharashtra is the worst affected state. It's got 60 plus cases, and besides that, Delhi has about 57 Omicron cases. So it's in Maharashtra and Delhi as expected, because this is where maximum air traffic also comes in and there's maximum surveillance at these airports. It's these two states that have the most number of cases, which is why the maximum curbs are also put in place. I know a lot of you have questions about whether we're going to be seeing another version of a lockdown, about whether there's going to be a relock and all of that going into 2022. What I can tell you is that right now there are a number of very, very strict curbs in place to ensure that the holiday season, these New Year Eve, Christmas gatherings don't turn into super spreader events. In Delhi, there are a number of steps that have been taken. In Mumbai also, prohibitory orders are in place. In states like Goa, which is where you see huge tourist influx at this time of the year, Section 144, prohibitory orders have been imposed to ensure that not more than 3 people can gather in a place. Because remember, in the second wave, what happened in Goa, hopefully the administration has learned the right lessons from the second wave and is ensuring that the residents of Goa don't suffer because of a tourist influx. So those are steps that are being taken right now in different states across the country. The Delhi Chief Minister is going to be holding a meeting at 11. And several state governments really are holding these kind of review meets to ensure that on the ground all steps necessary are taken. The central government has already made it clear to them in an advisory that they need to set up COVID war rooms if necessary. They need to impose night curfew if necessary. So all of those steps, and I'm sure it's all very reminiscent of what we've seen in 2021, all of that will perhaps be carried forward in 2022 as well. A result of the Prime Minister's COVID review meet could be more steps being announced by the centre and something that states will have to follow on exactly what are the norms, whether it's regards to domestic and international travel or other guidelines as well about night curfew, etc. So we can expect perhaps more clarity on whether you're going to be seeing more curbs being put in place post that meeting. Is there going to be an all-out lockdown? That's not going to happen. Another question that keeps coming up is on booster doses. Of course, other countries across the world have already introduced booster doses. They're saying that's the way that they're going to fight the Omicron variant, by ensuring that people's immunities are brought up with a booster dose. But here in India, Rahul Gandhi yesterday also tweeted questioning the vaccine policy, saying that there must be a booster shot introduced. But the centre has made it very clear that right now the number one priority is to complete the vaccine drive, is to ensure that every citizen gets those 2 doses of the vaccine, and then they will think about a booster. And even if a booster dose is introduced, remember that just like we saw the vaccine drive itself, it will be phase-wise. So it will begin perhaps with a vulnerable population, with healthcare, frontline workers, and then permeate through other parts of the society to other citizens as well. So it's going to take time for a booster dose. Don't expect that to happen overnight. The best thing we can do, of course, is to not lower our guard. While the administration is taking all of these steps, it's very, very important for you and I to ensure that, we go back to the basics, wear a mask, wear a double mask also ideally, maintain social distancing, don't go out unless absolutely necessary, because what we're seeing on the ground, and here at India Today, we've been getting you a number of reports. What we're seeing here is extremely worrying. The fact that, you see markets still so overcrowded, people shopping for the holiday season as if there's nothing to worry about, as if COVID has gone away. We have so many reactions also from tourist hubs of people not wearing masks, saying that, we're not scared about corona anymore. If we have that attitude, we might as well be prepared for another wave hitting us very, very soon. Experts have said that a third wave could hit India by about Feb mid, but they're saying that if we are careful and if we take all the necessary steps, it will spike very fast, it will dip very fast. There won't be many casualties because Omicron isn't as severe as the Delta variant, which caused all of those casualties in the second wave. So here on India Today, of course, we will be getting you the latest updates on the meeting that the Prime Minister holds this evening. Again, a reminder for all of you that that meeting is at 6:30 this evening. Now, the Prime Minister has a packed schedule today because in the morning, he's going to be making his way to his constituency of Varanasi. Remember, he was there last week on December 13th, that grand spectacle, the grand event where he had in fact inaugurated the first phase of his dream project, the Kashi Vishwanath corridor. Today also the focus is going to be on development, a number of projects that he's going to be inaugurating for the people of Uttar Pradesh. Of course, politically hugely symbolic and significant because we have months to go for the election. And every week the Prime Minister has been ensuring that he visits Uttar Pradesh, launches these kind of projects. Today about 22 projects we're hearing will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Speaking of political news breaks that are coming in today, as far as the Congress is concerned, it's another day, another revolt that they're dealing with. We've been getting you so many updates on what's happening in Punjab and that whole fight of Navjot Singh Sidhu, first with Captain Amrinder Singh, now with Chief Minister Channi. The focus now is shifting to the state of Uttarakhand, and the man who was in the midst of the Punjab Congress crisis, in the sense that he was the Gandhi's emissary dealing from the front, firefighting this crisis, Harshvardhans, has now expressed his displeasure. He put out some rather cryptic tweets last evening, which led to a lot of speculation that he's choosing to dump the Congress and perhaps go his own way, launch his own political party in Uttarakhand. The reason for this is in his tweets, he spoke about how there's no freedom, no transparency in the Congress. He says that, my hands and feet are tied, essentially saying that he has a problem with the organizational structure of the Congress, something that we've heard far too often about the party. So now, to ensure that there's damage control and this doesn't escalate into a Punjab rerun in Uttarakhand, Harshvardhans has been summoned to Delhi. His concerns are going to be addressed. We'll see, of course, if the Gandhis directly choose to address this, if they meet him and deal with this directly, because he is someone who is their close aide, and the fact that he's speaking out will spell endless troubles really for the party, especially in Uttarakhand. So we'll see what really comes of Harshvardhans' meeting with the High Command, whether he has a change of heart, whether he speaks about what really are his issues within the party. That's another story that we'll be tracking this morning very, very closely. Again, before I wrap up this broadcast, just a quick update for all of you on the Omicron crisis. The latest numbers are out also of the number of COVID cases in the country. 7,495 new cases in the last 24 hours. I just want to reiterate that that's not the number of Omicron cases, that's the number of overall COVID cases. That is 18.6% higher than the tally that was reported yesterday. So it's steadily going up. And the weeks to come, because of New Year's, because of Christmas, you could see that number further rising as well. So another reminder not to let your guard down. That's all we have time for on this broadcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Same time tomorrow, I'll be joining you with the top stories.